Alright, we are into Game 2 of Prime Icarus taking on Reason Gaming, and Game 1 going to Reason in a pretty easy 17-18 minute victory. Basically nothing that Prime Icarus did worked out particularly well except for the Voodoo Jester picks, but Blade had some issues getting his GPM up in the bottom lane. Teltook had an absolutely terrible time as the Suicide Kinesis, and in the middle lane Dutch Ownage on the Magnus got repeatedly killed by Deadwood, who is actually in Game 2 here. So, anyway, it's going to be first few picks are done already, and Cerato's going to get his hands on Tremble, so that'll be fun to see, and it wouldn't surprise me if that meant we're going to go to Game 3 here, because Cerato's very well known as a Tremble picker and a very, very good Tremble player in general. So, Reason Gaming, something to watch out for, and might be in trouble a little bit, just saying. So, looks like first few picks for Legion side, first bans. Ophelia Parasite getting taken out by Invoice, Switchblade, and Puppet Master being removed by the Hellborn team. And it looks like Cthulhu and Nerfs have successfully removed him as a top tier pick, as he's been neither picked nor banned in the first 4 bans and the first 6 picks, as well as now the next even 5 bans, perhaps even 6. So Cthulhu might be available throughout this whole game, and perhaps nobody will even draft him. How crazy would that be? Anyway, second bang stage you can consider going to conclude here. Bubbles, Tempest, and Legionnaire being taken out by Emboboy. Some more junglers, as well as the Suicide Bubbles option. Electrician, Rally, and Pharaoh getting removed by Teltook. So clearly focusing Zane, as Pharaoh, Rally, 2 of his favorite heroes. Electrician, similar deal. Doesn't play too much Ellie, but likes to. So definitely very good with that hero as well. And the Legion side will pick up their 4th pick with the Magnus to complement Glacius, Deadwood, and Valkyrie. So a lot of similar stuff going on from Reason's side, at least in terms of the Valk and Deadwood. Feeling like TPS Priceless did super well on that hero in the middle lane last game, as he had a pretty enormous impact. Might as well just pick it up for him and see if he can do it again. And if he can, then Reason Gaming might be on their way to a 2-0 series victory. But Cerato's Tremble might have something to say about that. Empath going to combo well with that hero, of course. Jump inside of me, and you will do a bunch more damage, as well as hitting twice on every auto attack. Kraken and Revenant going to be their 2 picks, and are waiting for their last selection as Legion goes with Master of Arms for their final pick. And it looks like that's going to be a hard support Master. And guys on Prime Icarus feeling like Jester did quite well last game. Let's do it again, and we'll see how that works out. Definitely seemed to go quite well, so wouldn't be surprised if it combos well with this Kraken, as well as the Tremble, actually, to be honest, considering he's got some slowing stuff and his grip from his pet. We'll see if actually Shortcans can play the Jester. That would surprise me. Sacto did very well in it last game, but it's going to be Shortcan this game, so they're going to play the same hero but on a different player. A little bit interesting. That also means Revenant is actually a core hero in this lineup and not a support. Not a huge surprise, but can play multiple roles, so not always worth noting which one he actually does play. So, Emboboy back on his Valkyrie, which he had a pretty fantastic time on in the last game, and would be surprised to see an aggressive tri-lane here from the Legion side, as they've got a pretty fantastic one with Glacius, Glacius, Master of Arms, and Valkyrie. Meanwhile, the rest of the lane's pretty typical. Magnus actually in the mid, and Deadwood going to be in the solo short, so Reason Gaming, not a hugely surprising lineup by any means in terms of their laning positions. Hellborn going to send the Suicide Kraken in Teltook's hands, as well as mid going to be played by Voodoo Jester? No, it's going to be Revenant mid, what am I talking about, because Dutch Ownage played mid last game. And they may in fact go for wrong one. They may in fact go for double dual lanes here as opposed to the tri-lane, as Tremble's dropping him out in the middle. That will allow him to gank. He's also using the Chipper Tremble ult that makes him look like a Chipper, but that's actually a Tremble. It's very confusing. And the lane's sort of getting switched up here, actually, as Teltook, it appears, is going to go into the top lane, and they realize the aggressive tri-lane is coming. they want Kraken to be in the least advantageous position so that Tremble can be secured some farm. So they're like, well, we're going to put him against the aggro Troy lane. He's pretty tanky. He's got that charge away, so maybe he can survive the really triple stun of the Legion team on this top lane. And it's going to be the Empath and Jester actually looking for a level 1 gank onto this Magnus. Revenant is going to put some auto attack harass in already. And there's Empath with some right clicks. There's the wall as well. And he's going to Lava Surge forward, but now he's stunned and there's no way he's getting out of that one. So Zane, not too many directions he could have gone with that actually. Maybe the only thing I'm thinking of other than what he actually did is if he waited a little bit, tried to get up the hill by going down and right, as opposed to just stunning right back up on top of the Jester, or maybe even stunning into the Revenant and trying to get away from the stun from Blue Jester, knowing that Revenant has no stun available. And perhaps could get himself into the jungle, maybe even die to neutrals instead of taking the death right after that. But Prime Icarus is off to a good start, and they're going to need it if they want to force a game 3. Looks like both supports are going to rotate to this bottom lane as well, try to shut down Deadwood a little bit, and secure Tremble's farm. Right off the bat, Ceratoss at 200 GPM, actually 175, closer to it, TPS priceless. A little bit further ahead, but at this point, missing 2 supports from the middle lane. Deadwood understandably nervous about actually laning. And we'll just head off over here to stack and presumably pull, get himself some lane control back, while Tremble basically gets free farm in this bottom lane. So things going quite well for PI right off the bat. Revenant in the middle lane, actually going to be a Ward of Rev on top of him, and he's going to try to get away from this Magnus, but the stun is there from Master of Arms, and there's no way that Jonah just getting out of that one. So Reason Gaming say, guess what? Our supports can rotate too. They bring both to the middle, get a nice counter kill onto that Revenant, and that's going to help Magnus get back into this lane, and his Revenant could very possibly have started to destroy Magnus if that Bloodlust had allowed him to snowball in terms of his lane control and advantage. Both supports on the Legion side look like they're rotating at the bottom lane. Wall comes out in the middle, and Magnus going to try to invis himself. He should be mostly okay. He does not have a Lava Surge, though. And we'll see if they actually have enough damage to do anything. Glacius going to put the freeze down, and all of a sudden, Magnus' bad position, because he does not have Lava Surge, but he won't be able to get killed as the dive from Hellborn is not there. Haystron's still active on the Glacius, and they can't freeze anything, but this is actually turning into a try versus try mid, which is not something I've ever seen before, but that's sort of the way it's organically shaped up. Very strange. Both sides wanting desperately to control this middle lane, and there's the wall on top of the cask. Maledict is there, and Magnus is definitely dying. The question is, will they get anything else out of this? Empath has something helping her stay alive for a little while, and she's going to be able to get out of there, no problem. Master of Arms actually going to be in a lot of trouble as well. Revenant getting blocked out a little bit. A couple more auto attacks will finish him up, but the health pot going to keep him alive, and Glacius just unable to finish off that kill, so Hellborn side get 2 kills in exchange for nothing. Does cost them a health pot on Revenant, and he's actually going to have to go back to base. Mana potions being used as well on both supports in this middle lane, but definitely stuff they will sacrifice for getting a couple of kills on the opposing team's support and initiator. So things coming up PI, at least right off the bat. Bottom lane Tremble gonna have his mound killed by Starzors. And if you're playing against Tremble, please kill the mounds. I have way too many games where people are just like, oh, it's a mound, let's just look at it. Kill the mounds. They don't take that many hits to kill, and it's worth it. Gold's not that good, but it's really something that should happen. It's kind of funny. Tremble's seems like a hero that S2 have never really been able to figure out in terms of how to balance him. Either he's ridiculously broken, like he was in the beginning of the season, and they actually had to take him out of competitive play to figure out what to do with him, or he's completely useless and nobody ever wants to pick him. I don't know. Those mounds especially seem to be a consistent point of contention. Are they so weak that he can't do anything with them, or are they so powerful that they completely break the hero? Tends to vary. Anyway, top lane, Amboy going to be going up against Teltook on this Kraken, and currently doing quite well, 350 GPM at just 190 for Teltook, and he's actually going to get jumped by the Magnus Valkyrie combination at this point. Tremble has a mound up here, so he might look to turn this. Teltook clearly not going in the round direction. There we go with the Tremble initiation. Valkyrie are going to finish him off, though. And we'll see if actually Tremble can get anything out of this. Imboboy going to need to leap away if he doesn't want to die, and he could still no, actually. No Ghost Marchers available on Tremble, so he can't do too much. Meanwhile, middle lane, Dutch Ownage gets killed as FJ getting the last hit there. No doubt priceless rotation from the bottom lane, proven crucial. So this Revenant continuing to have a pretty poor time. Zane on the Magnus having an even worse time. So you look at the Hellborn team and nobody having particularly good farm. In fact, nobody in the game really having all that great a farm except for Imboboy on that Valkyrie. And speaking of Valkyrie, top lane, they're looking to set something up onto her. She does still have the leap. The cask actually going to hit, though, after the leap, and it's going to bounce as well right to Glacius. They don't have enough to do anything about this, though. As here comes Master of Arms. Maledict hits on the Glacius, and Glacius going to be in a lot of trouble. Is definitely going to fall here. Stop focusing her. She's already dead, and in fact, Shortcan will get the last auto attack. Maledict, if they had continued to focus the Valkyrie, might have gotten that kill. Instead, Shortcan dies to the Imboboy arrow. And he's just going to walk it off, no problem there. So, one of the things about Voodoo Gesture is you really have to know when you've done enough damage to stop focusing a hero and just let Maledict get the kill. Because I think if they had stopped trying to kill Glacius in that instance, about a couple of seconds before he died, and just focused the Valkyrie instead with some auto attacks, they would have had a much better chance of killing Imboboy. And instead, they lost the Glacius, sure, but they also potentially lost a kill on the Valkyrie. And would Shortcan have died? Don't know. Maybe. But even if he had, it would have been much better sacrificing his life for Valkyrie and Glacius as opposed to just for Glacius. One thing I haven't talked about too much this game is really team composition. Tremble going to port to the bottom lane, actually invis on Deadwoods, so I don't know if he saw a Tremble there. My guess is that he did. I don't actually know how that interaction works. Meanwhile, trees getting chopped down left and right as Tremble's just like mounds everywhere. Deadwood perhaps looking for initiation. He's got his Falcon Punch, and off to the side it's going to be the Voodoo Jester who's probably dying here. Nope, there's the wall actually as the Revenant Word of Revelation spots him out. The Rotten Grass right on top of Voodoo Jester's face is going to be a kill on a Shortcan. Meanwhile, TPS Priceless is going to fall with this Maledict on him, no question. And now they're going to focus on the Glacius, who should probably die as well. Zane looking for some sort of counter as he gets a two-man Lava Surge. The Essence Link stun is there. One more auto attack from Kraken, not going to be enough. Oh, the splash does eventually finish him off. Revenant coming in from the side, looking to get something onto these two heroes. Imboboy in the top lane. Not actually going to port in, apparently. He's content to just sit there and farm. As Tremble wants to dive the tower, will use a mound. Finally, Imboboy coming in with the teleport. Or no, it's actually that's Deadwood. That is Imboboy. And Deadwood coming in with a second TP. And all of a sudden, the side of Prime Icarus probably needs to back off a lot. Maledict on top of Zane, and he's going to die as a result of that Shortcan. Still falling. Certos dying as well. Magnus wants to come back into this, but he's still going to pay for it. Empath popping the power supply. That's going to perhaps keep her alive. Kraken charging away, and I think they're going to be able to get under the safety of their tower before anything happens. Valkyrie looking for an arrow angle, but the creep wave is not helping in that regard. They're going to counter on FJ, who got a little bit too aggressive. And now Valkyrie looking for something onto this Empath. A couple auto attacks will finish her off. And Deadwood trying to get the Rotten Grass, doesn't find it, has no punch for 25 seconds. Looks like a Kraken will be able to survive no problem. As Shortcan on the Voodoo Jester coming right back in, but can't find any kills. Valkyrie now sort of in the middle lane. Actually, it's Starzors that's going to die somehow. Tremble, came back in with a mound. As he didn't buy back, he just naturally respawned and ported in. Found a kill onto the Master of Arms, not bad. And in the end, Prime Icarus still up a little bit after that fight. 9 to 8 in hero kills. Slight gold advantage. More important is the experience. That is considerably more in their favor, but nobody, again, really on this Hellborn team is taking off. 280 GPM on Certos is their highest. Eruption going to be charged here. Arrow going to be dodged, and Revenant's still going to die, no question. Looks like Empath going to wall off Glacius, and there will be no further aggression on him, but obviously Revenant against Magnus, no way to stop that Eruption channel. It does way too much damage for him to survive it, and they will get the counter kill on FJ. That's not bad. Tremble looking for something else, perhaps, but just going to start to push this middle lane and back the creeps off of the tower. So, Certos hitting 315 GPM. And Word of Revelation gets dropped That's going to allow them vision even when he's in the mound, of course. As Magnus wants to set something up off to the side. Zane's still 200 GPM and not particularly close to his portal key. We're 10 minutes into this game. He doesn't even have steam boots yet. So probably going to be at least 10 more minutes before he's looking at a portal key pickup unless his farm substantially increases within the next 5. But there are really not too many safe places for him to farm, so you look at the Hellborn team, like I said, nobody really taking off. A lot of these heroes between 250 and 200 GPM, but Legion side having some similar problems here. Imbaboy is at 400 gold per minute, which is great for him, but the rest of his team is just absolutely suffering, priceless at 225. He needs his portal key, still does not have upgraded boots, and has only 1,000 gold to his name on top of that. But it wouldn't be surprising if they perhaps try to set up some kills, as Imbaboy just farms his brains out. Rev Ward in the middle lane, finding a Word of Revelation from the Legion team, and they'll counter that real nice. Of course, they do know there's a Word of Sight there, so it would be surprising to see Reason Gaming come out with their own counter ward and try to stop the vision from the Hellborn team. Top lane, meanwhile, Valkyrie, and instead of everybody going at it, as Teltook takes a punch. And Voodoo Jester here looking for the counter. There's a Terror Mound, so Tremble could come in, but he has actually only set his pet so far. Empath coming in from the side, looking for an initiation. Going to get the Essence Link stun off, as well as the Maledict, and Imbaboy in a very bad position at this point, trying to port away. I don't know if that's going to be enough, as he's probably going to die in the well. Nope. He's got one more tick on the Maledict. It's going to be enough. No, it's not, and he just barely survives, so pretty common tactic, of course. Didn't work for Priceless last game, but this time, the TP away from Valkyrie with just enough time, and they do not get the kill on Imbaboy, which would have been pretty big, actually. Slowing down this Valkyrie has to be their main priority at this point. Nobody else in the Legion team is really looking like too much of a threat, but if they can stop Valkyrie from starting to take over and being able to carry them into the late game, wouldn't be surprising to see Prime Icarus pull out a victory and force a Game 3. Arrow in the top lane actually will hit on a Tremble. He also Valkyrie having her Thunderclaw. Gonna get frozen by Boris. Is it still called Boris? Yeah. We'll kill a Terran as well. Thunderclaw doing a lot of damage, but now actually Valkyrie gonna take a stun from the cask. Will leap away at the appropriate time. But of course that leap does not disjoint, but it does mean she takes the stun after the leap and does not bounce. So initiation from the Hellborn team unsuccessful. And Cerato's just basically heading off into the woods, continuing to up his farm, 320 gold per minute. Pretty easily the highest farmer on his team, as they really need to find a way to let Tremble do something. He's currently got his Steam Boots, and might be looking at a Thunderclaw from him as well. He's got 2,000 gold saved up, and obviously that second attack means that Lightning procs pretty much constantly off of Tremble. You will be seeing a lot of proc-based items on that hero in general. Rift Shards, Savage Mace, Lightning, that sort of thing. Actually, bottom lane, Priceless is going to be countered. He actually avoids the Kraken ultimate thanks to the Master of Arms buff. That's not going to save his life, as the support from the Hellborn team, thanks to Revenant Essence Shroud, was perfectly timed. Teltook has his life saved and actually gets a counter kill onto that Deadwood. Pretty good for him, 260 GPM, so actually he's not super far off of his portal key at this point. Top lane, meanwhile, Tremble trying to go at it with Valkyrie, but all of a sudden wants no more of that fight. Force is like, hello. Another Tremble Mount, or Terror Mount gets dropped, because that hero's annoying as shit. And we'll see if Imbaboy gets punished for this. Actually, it's going to be the Glacius roaming top, but presumably going to be seen by these Terror Mounts at some point, so they probably know Valkyrie's got some support. Middle lane, actually, it's the 4 heroes from the Prime Icarus side that are grouping up and perhaps looking to take a tower. We are 14 minutes into this game, and nobody on either side has actually killed a tower yet. Not hugely surprising. Neither of them have particularly good tower-killing teams. They actually have some pretty terrible tower-killing teams in general, and pretty terrible pushing teams. Master of Arms, obviously a strong counter-pusher, but nobody on the Hellborn team is really that interested in trying to break base or anything like that anytime soon, so his goo is going to be less effective. Pet's pretty funny, little truck. Glacius putting a teleport in, but actually canceling it. And we have 3 heroes up in the top lane for the Hellborn team. By the way, it will be the Thunderclaw on Tremble, so that'll be delivered to him soon. No huge surprise that he's going for lightning, trying to increase his farm, which really has not been able to take off in any meaningful capacity. And it's going to be a tower attempt in this top lane. Word of Revelation did spot the other supports, and they're definitely going to look to focus this down. The Legion side has a couple of heroes in the back that are looking for an initiation as they're going to flank this Prime Icarus team. And this could get real bad real fast for PI. Taltuk in the middle lane still. It looks like they're going to kill this tower in one way or another with fortification going down. They don't have enough damage to finish it off. It actually does get denied in the background. That's just everybody explodes as the initiation is fantastic. It's a hat trick for Imboy. That Glacial Downpour and the Valkyrie Arrow, as well as the Call of the Valkyrie, just doing a ridiculous amount of damage to everybody. And Reason Gaming taking a substantial lead after that fantastic fight. They're also going to Tier 1 tower in the short lane. And that went pretty amazingly well for Reason, just about as fantastically as it could have. I don't see any way they could have gotten that and been like, yeah, but we didn't get that. No. All the kills went to the carry. They got the tower denied. They got a Tier 1 top. They got 4 kills in total, including 1 on the opposing team's carry. I mean, that was just about the perfect team fight. And with it, Reason going to take a pretty substantial lead at this point, actually, as well. 4,500, now almost 5k gold and 4k experience in their favor. Empath will get the wall off onto the Glacius, eats a freeze, but this Empath stun is there. Revenant's like, hello, I am what you call damage, and the Master of Arms ultimate completely destroyed. I'm not really sure why I thought it was fit to use that. It was pretty obvious that FJ was not going to survive no matter what happened. Mid lane Certus denying a tower, has his Thunderclaw now, still only 285 gold for that top lane kill, really not helping him very much. Kraken has picked up a portal key, so their initiation potential on the Hellborn side is actually substantial now. It is no longer completely terrible, as it was just a few moments ago. And Certus, I think at this point, needs a substantial amount of time to just be in the woods and farm himself some items, because he's really not a threat in these team fights whatsoever. He just kind of dies. He's got 1,138 health, and the Thunderclaw is a good source of damage, but it's not going to matter, as he's going to be pretty significantly stunned and disabled in these team fights. You're looking at Deadwood Punch, Charge Shot, Magma Stun, Glacios Freeze, and the Arrow, all potential sources of lockdown, as well as the Rotten Grasp, for that matter. Now, speaking of the Rotten Grasp, Deadwood with the Veiled Rot running through the Hellborn Woods, looking for something to punch. He's only level 10. So, no access to level 2 ultimate yet, but Voodoo Jester perhaps could be the casualty. They're not going to spot each other. There they will, and Hello Punch into the Rotten Grasp. A couple auto attacks should be enough to finish him off. Maledict, not even close to enough damage, and Priceless will just pour it on up. Bottom tower, meanwhile, gets denied. And Ancients will be triple stacked here, presumably for the benefit of Tremble. Speaking of Tremble, he's in the top lane, and it looks like he's going to get aggressed on a little bit. Both Deadwood and Magma's coming over, as well as the Glacius, but Tremble running away pretty easily. And Reason in a pretty nice position at this point, as we see the Ancients being triple stacked, and Certus coming in and saying, thank you very much. I'll just take those. Not going down super fast here, but definitely not bad. Actually, Arrow connects onto one of them, so they're aware that the Ancients are being killed, but nobody in enough danger to really warrant an attempt to kill them. So, we're almost 20 minutes into this game here, and obviously Reason taking a lead. Deadwood has picked up his portal key, so the Legion side initiation is much better. Magma's also got his. He actually doesn't even have upgraded boots yet. Figuring the priority was his PK, and that's definitely not a bad choice at all. He's not going to have too much mana, so it's basically going to be Eruption, PK, Lava Surge, and then he's going to be more or less spent in these fights, but it's going to be enough. And actually Steam Boots now, that'll help out a lot, as he had about 1,000 gold saved up, so not a huge surprise that he picks up the Steam Boots next. And Reason looking really strong right now. Prime Icarus, really, they don't have enough farm on this Tremble to make him a threat, and Valkyrie looking for a shrunken head after the Firebrand and Thunderclaw. So it's going to come down, I think, to the initiation potential from the Hellborn team. If they can get a nice Essence Shroud and or Portal Key initiation, then they're going to be able to do a lot. As Deadwood level 11, going to find the punch on the Voodoo Jester. Nothing he can do about that. Actually, Portal Key's away. Doesn't get the experience as a result, but he does not die, so free money. And he gone. course, Shortcan on that Jester. Not super happy fun times.
The Hellborn have overrun a Legion FOB.
Bottom tower does get destroyed by Ceratoss, so it'll be a nice boost of gold for him, 370, and his farm is, no surprise, picking up. Thunderclaw helping out a lot. Still perhaps 5 to 10 minutes away from really being able to contest the Valkyries. All sorts of stuff's happening in the middle lane, and Master of Arms in a lot of trouble. Despite the use of his ultimate on himself, it's not going to be enough to save him. And looks like Star Wars will be the only casualty of that fight. There's actually 4 heroes collapsed from the Hellborn team. Ceratoss picking up the kill, so he's nearly 400 GPM now. And Tremble definitely a hero to continue watching, but doesn't have to be all about him. Deadwood with the clear cutting, just going to TP away. Figuring he's not in a great position, doesn't want to be there any longer. Valkyrie picking up the Warhammer, so she's well on her way to her Shrunken. Just about 600 gold away at this point. Deadwood has Greaves as well as a Veiled Rot, and we'll see what he goes for next. Has 1,000 gold saved up, so not particularly close to his next item, but wouldn't be surprised with something like a Sheepstick or a Hellflower, trying to lock down that Tremble at least a little bit. Maledict goes on to Magmas, but he's really not taking very much damage. Ceratoss in the background, going to get the slow, and there's a Voodoo Jester ultimate as well. Going to be channeled up, but the arrow hits on Ceratoss as well as the punch, and that's going to be enough. Magmas porting back to base, trying to live through that Maledict, and I think he probably will. Yeah, no problem whatsoever. So, nice counter by the Legion Zane as they try to kill Zane, but quickly find there are too many supporting members of Reason Gaming in the woods to actually successfully get that kill. And Imbaboy and crew now figuring that's their cue to push middle lane. As this Valkyrie is getting her Shrunken Head delivered. And that's going to be a bit of an issue in these team fights. So there's a lot of magic damage, especially from the Revenant. That's not going to do too much, of course, against the Death Ward from, or the Spirit Ward? Yeah, Spirit Ward. From Voodoo Jester, as that's a physical-based ability. Bit of miscommunication right there. They use the Glyph, and Voodoo Jester tries to deny it. In fact, they do not get the deny, and Reason Gaming picks up the kill on Valkyrie, who's pretty much the last hero you want to get even more farm. Anyway, that Trunk is going to stop a lot of the stuff from the Hellborn team. Cask, obviously, pretty much all of Revenant's damage. Some stuff from Tremble, especially the Lightning, as well as much of what's coming out from Kraken at this point. Superior Magic Stun is still going to stun Valkyrie, but presumably she will be able to leap out of the Whirlpool if she manages to not get immediately stunned by it. So it's going to take some really good play from Teltook, otherwise Valkyrie not super concerned about that Kraken ulti. At this point, they have to do something to address Reason Gaming. They're farming really aggressively here in the Hellborn Woods. Tremble has mounds all over the Legion side of the map right now, and he's trying to do what he can. Meanwhile, he's got a Shrunken Head of his own, and Master of Arms, that invis not going to be very helpful thanks to the Empath Dust, so Ceratoss picking up a kill on Moa. That's good, at the very least, getting people picked off. And perhaps going to turn that into some Ancients killed, but actually I wouldn't be surprised if they try to take Kongor at this point. They're 6k gold behind, but in a 4v5, I don't know how comfortable Legion team would be with fighting at Kongor. Hellborn do have the Kongor advantage, so if they could get some wards up, get inside the pit safely, and get a token onto Tremble, I think that'd be very valuable. Other than that, though, I mean, something that we really haven't seen too much of in this game is Kraken actually making use of that portal key. He's had it now for quite a while, but they haven't really been able to set up ganks with it, despite the fact that they've got a solid gank team. And he's really just been trying to farm and keep up his GPM, try to get even more items, but Kraken, he should have a portal key. That should be enough. Anyway, middle lane, punch right in his face, freeze on top of that. Speaking of him, he's dead. And that's not what's supposed to happen with Kraken portal key. You're not supposed to be the one getting caught in middle lane. You're supposed to be the one that's catching other people.
The Legion have overrun
as Valkyrie takes down a tier 2 in the top lane.
The Hellborn have overrun a Legion FOB.
Nice fit to the bottom tier 2 tower. So not a bad exchange for Prime Icarus. They are down, and trading when you're down is always good. But this is going to lean into a base push for Reason Gaming. Is nope. If they in fact decide, let's get the hell out of here. Tremble mounds all over the map. That's so annoying. I hate those things so much. Look like pimples. Master Arms apparently hates them too. I don't know why he's not switching to his red form to give himself some more auto attack speed. It's not about the damage. It's the 4 hits that killed him. Valk approaching the 600 GPM mark at this point, but beyond which, it's more or less impossible to win games. Revelation Ward is not going to work for the Veiled Rot, but it will work for the Invis Deadwood, who's all of a sudden going to be like, well, maybe not, I don't actually want to be here. And Shrunken Head popped on Tremble, perhaps a little bit prematurely, but definitely revealing the fact that they have sight. Unless I think it was just a misclick. Deadwood just going to run straight on through. Be like, alright, I want to initiate then. Veiled Rot from Voodoo Gister. He's looking to set something up onto somebody, but he might run into this Deadwood. And Deadwood can run right back in on top of Ward of Revelation, and now they know exactly where he is. So Invis going to run out in about 10 seconds. Run past a Ward of Sight here. It's a Legion Ward of Sight though, so not a big deal. And Priceless playing a little bit on edge, but the Hellborn seem no capacity to act on it. And it's going to be another Word of Sight that spots him out, so they know exactly where Deadwood's going, but they're unable to kill him, and apparently not feeling like they can try to jump. Middle lane, it's going to perhaps be Glacius who's in trouble. Kraken, of course, has the portal key. We'd really like to see him make use of it. Essence Shroud gank, as we have 3 heroes in Viz, both supports and the Revenant. We're slowly devolving in a little bit more of a farm game here. Prime Icarus is probably not super upset about that, as Valkyrie can continue to increase her GPM, but it's easier for Tremble to catch up than it is for Imboboy to get further ahead, as it looks like the Hellborn team are taking some map control back. They are taking control of their jungle once again. Revenant farming it out, and Tremble farming bot, farming the Ancients. He's up to 450 GPM, and Valkyrie falling down a little bit actually from her peak of 575. Top lane, Revenant can be in a lot of trouble. Gets punched, gets grasped, and he's dead. Middle lane in the meantime, and Valkyrie Prism doing a lot, and Voodoo Jester getting hit by an arrow and killed pretty easily. Kraken ultimate not going to be enough to kill Magnus. Actually, he gets dusted out, but Empath going to have to jump inside of Tremble here, who's all of a sudden on the hunt. Mountain's going forward. They're going to lock down this Valkyrie a little bit, but he actually gets pushed away before he can pop a Shrunken Head. Valkyrie going to take the death, as that was good. Basher from Tremble doing a hell of a lot. Empath Essence Link onto the Glacius. Will get speeded forward too, as Ceratides can get to double tap here. Master of Arms, I'm not sure what your plan was there, but it wasn't a great one. He gets pushed back into the tree, or to the cliff, as Ceratides with the hat trick. And Prime Icarus, that's exactly the fight they wanted to take. Get the Valkyrie killed early, get another couple of free picks on the supports, and take a tower out of it as well. So, objective gaming, and they not only win the fight, they accomplish some stuff on the map, and I'd like to see a Kongor kill, and it looks like that's what's going to happen here. Ceratops headed for the monkey. He's looking to pick up a token. Probably would drop his Iron Shield. And just bashing Kongor to hell. He's literally just getting permabashed. Because of that double auto attack. It's just constantly happening. Man, that hero's broken. So, the Abominable Snowman, or whatever the hell he's, Snowmont, it's just Kongor. He's a different thing, because it's Christmas. And Token? Tremble gonna be coming right back up. If he gets jumped ever, Zane gonna get walled off, so nothing much he can do. After that, Portal Key initiation unsuccessful. TPS Priceless running forward with the Valkyrie Prism gank. And they will end the invis at this point. Tremble now gonna see Zane, but only for as long as it takes for him to kill that thing. So we're approaching the 30-minute mark here, and Prime Icarus starting to get themselves back into the game, as Tremble's poor start is turning into a solid mid-game. And he's nearly caught the Valk in terms of overall GPM. He's got 3,800 gold saved up on top of that Token of Life. Wouldn't mind seeing him finish off the Charged Hammer, or getting an entirely new item, perhaps even Rift Shards or Savage Mace. Valkyrie perhaps looking to go for Geometer's Paint. She actually has a no-fire, so going to be able to purge some stuff. That's helpful. I believe she can purge the Immobilize from Tremble. I'm not entirely sure about that, but I think you can, I would imagine. And at the very least, it will allow her to slow some people down. She can also take off the debuff of the Essence Shroud. Tremble and Valkyrie going to meet each other as actually, nope, nice Shrunken Head before anything else can happen, but he gets punched in the face thanks to Deadwood being physical, and Tremble's now like, oh crap. I've already used my Shrunken, there goes my token, here comes the arrow right in his face, and the eruption. Ceratops going to take the death there, as the response from Prime Icarus was absolutely perfect. and that's not what they wanted to do. So just as I start to compliment Prime Icarus for getting back into this game to do something like that, Certas being dead for 60 seconds, losing the token for absolutely nothing, and word will be countered here that was actually just placed on top of an existing Word of Sight and Revelation word. So sad times for PI supports. They will not be refunded that 50 gold for a full duration ward. And state of the game right now, obviously Prime Icarus behind, but one good team fight, and they're actually right back in this game. So, ooh, that one hurts too. That one was about to expire, and instead it's going to be countered. So some good dewarding here from the Reason Gaming side. And they have a ridiculous amount of map vision right now. You can see them, they got a Word of Sight deep in the Hellborn Woods. They've got one at the top room here as well, and one at the bottom, as well as the Hellborn side only having the one here, scouting out the Legion Ancients. So things not great in terms of overall vision for the Hellborn team. Terra Mountains help a little bit, but they really don't have the largest vision radius. It's mostly the area that they cover that's actually going to show what they can see. Forsaken Ancients along with Tremble, and unfortunately a little bit too late to stack and get a second kill, but oh well. Item pickups across the board. Looks like Valkyrie going to be working under her Geometer's Bane. Wants to get a lot more damage to take out that Tremble and Boris combination. And Geometer's Bane, of course, can make it a lot easier for Tremble to stun her out and kill her, because he's first going to have to figure out which one is real. Now that's going to be made easier by the fact that he has a charged hammer, so the lightning bounces are going to pretty quickly reveal which Valkyrie is in fact the Valkyrie and not and not a fake. Words are hard. Deadwood picking up Soul's Bulwark. Looks like he's working on Trunk ahead of his own, so presumably it's going to be a negative armor. Soul's Bulwark will increase the punch damage, and can be flipped to defensive if they start to get beaten down by that Tremble. But still, a lot of magic damage coming out from this Hellborn team. Actually, Air going to come through right on the face of Tremble, and he's in a lot of trouble. Valadic comes on to Deadwood, but it's not going to be enough to get the kill. And Jester now in a lot of trouble. He's going to get caught out and killed, so it's 2 for nothing. Valkyrie wanting more, and Allfire Blade onto the Revenant. They can't see him thanks to the Essence Shroud, and looks like that'll be enough to get him out of there. But Tremble, no buyback. Legion team, all 5 heroes here. Only ultimates that have been used are the Valkyrie Prison, the Deadwood Punch, and the Master of Arms ulti, so they still do have the Eruption. They've got the Glacial Downpour, and I think this is at least the top tower, and most likely Rax. Once they realize that Tremble isn't buying back, they're just going to be able to freely take the Rax. Glyph is used to try to slow us down a little bit, but it's not going to be enough. Power dropping way too quickly. And Revenant wants to slow this down, but it's not going to happen. So we're going to see a top Rax skill here for Reason Gaming, as Valkyrie is in the front line, taking a bit of damage, but dishing out way more.
The Hellborn barracks are liquidated.
So we'll see if they try to rotate to middle as well, or if they just say, that's enough, let's get out before we get caught. And that's my guess, that they will just leave after they kill this creep wave. Indeed. Valkyrie's like, I want no more part of this base. So, Reason Gaming looking like that those mid-game hiccups that they had are no longer the case. Somebody has scared them enough that they're breathing normally once again. Illusion really picked up by Revenant in the bottom lane. Not bad at all. And Prime Icarus, where do they go from here? Well, I think they need some more stuff on Certas, obviously. But he can get a little bit more aggressive in his farm. He got too aggressive. He was next to their base, but I think he can farm the right side of the Legion Woods, no problem. That's going to open up the Hellborn Woods, as well as possibly the Ancients for Kraken and Revenant. Revenant at this point just really needs gold. Like, he's so damn squishy. He's got 1300 health and a push book with the Essence Shroud. He's got some survivability, but it's really not enough. If he gets caught out by any sort of stun, he's going to die in a matter of a couple of seconds. And his damage potential is way too high to just let him fall as easily as he is. He needs some sort of survivability mechanism in case he gets caught, and some support from his team in that instance as well. And it's just going to be a matter of taking control of their own jungle. I mean, you look at the warning situation, and it's massively in favor of the Legion team. Anyway, in the top lane, Tremble going to get punched. Actually, I think he punched a creep. Glacial Downpour is still there, and Cerato's going to be in a lot of trouble. He's going to start to do something. Release Kraken is there on the defensive face of Deadwood, and actually that's going to be a counter. Cerato's not going to die in the background. It's going to be Glacius falling. He tries to TP away. Is he going to be able to get out of here? Really? Wow. That's unbelievable. He did manage to pick off Starzors on the Master of Arms, so 2 nice picks there for the Prime Icarus team, but it looks like in the meantime Imboboy wants this base tower, and they're going to have to take a bunch of teleports to get back here. Arrow will not connect on anybody, and it looks like the getaway will be successful. Cerato's trying to chase people down, but doesn't have any mount support to cut them off, and it's just going to be the end of that fight. So it's a couple of nice pickups from Prime Icarus, but Reason Gaming still get a tower out of it in the bot tier 2, as well as most of the damage on the bottom tier 3. So is that enough? I don't think so. I think at this point, Reason will trade a couple of hero picks for opposing buildings. So I'm starting to lag, apparently. $532 ping. This is an EU server, and I'm US West, so that's pretty typical to see the lag, but this frame skipping stuff is real bad. So apologies for this, but I don't know if it's on my end. My OBS is now starting to act up a little bit. Anyway, it will get the jump here onto the Glacius. 2-man Lava Surge stun from Zane, though. Dust Revelation comes out, and that finds Glacius. Arrow gets hit in the background, though, onto the Empath, and she's going to die. So far, it's a 1-for-1 in trade of supports. Valkyrie Prism still active. That's going to do some stuff. Cerato's popping the Shrunken Head. Finds Valkyrie, but she gets the leap away. They will get the short cam kill in the background. That Deadwood could be in some trouble. Kraken charging back in it. And actually Magnus with a very nice stun. Kraken charging, popping the Shrunken Head. But that log bolas is, or the log is physical, so that's fine. And Cerato's going to fall as well. Revenant the only one alive, but that's not going to last much longer as his invis is not sufficient. Hat trick for TPS Priceless. And I think that's the game? No. Cerato's has a buyback, Kraken has a buyback, and Revenant has a buyback, but they're all going to be used in order to stop this mid push. And once again, they have the Glacial Downpour and the Eruption. Neither of those were used in that fight. So we're going to see buybacks on both Revenant and Tremble, both of those entirely necessary. No Shrunken on Tremble for a couple of more seconds. Respawns have happened on supports naturally. Cast going through onto the Valkyrie. She will eat the Maledict as well, but it gets purged by the Geometer's Bane, and she will be able to leap away, no problem. Essence Link's done, hits Zane, and he could be in trouble, but Cerato's going to eat the arrow. Zane's still dying, and now Valkyrie going to have to run away. Actually, it's the Maledict was still on her, really? I thought the Geometer's Bane would purge that. Or maybe that's why she got the Nullfire Blade to purge it. But apparently couldn't do it. Glacius will be able to pour it out. Revenant's simply not enough damage. And no way to stop the TP, of course. So Prime Icarus do defend their base. Cost them 3 buybacks on all of their cores. And they're getting put in a more and more deadly position. Kraken just kind of hanging out. So they will try to push a tier 2 in this bottom lane. Rotten Grass connects in the background, and Empath just gets beaten. As Tremble going to perhaps try to lock down this Deadwood, but doesn't want to do so anymore. Master Arm's offensive Master's Call actually goes through on the Deadwood, and that does give assists, by the way, now. That actually matters. It didn't before. It was one of the things that annoyed the crap out of me, that active abilities like that didn't give you an assist, just because they didn't do direct damage, and now they do. So, thanks, S2, for fixing that problem. Jeremiah Slow obviously gives assists now too. That's really important. Jester is not going to get caught out as Priceless decides no real reason to keep killing Shorthand. Poor guy's died 9 times this game. Give him a break. It's just sad times. Kongor, though, is going to be attempted and likely killed by the Hellborn team. They do have all 5 available on the Legion side, but it doesn't look like they have any vision of the pit. Cerato's still pretty afraid of actually committing to the Kongor kill, as it looks like they will get an arrow onto the Revenant, but they don't have any vision of him, so it basically just ended. Cask bouncing around in the background. There's the Shrunken Head from Tremble, easy kill on FJ, as the Geometer's Bane split up from Valkyrie. Here's the Eruption getting channeled in the background as the Shrunken Head wears off from Cerato's. Shorthand dead. There goes Tremble, and punch on Dutch Ownage on the Revenant, and that's 3 dead right off the bat. As we have a buyback on nobody. Shorthand's dead. What am I going to talk about? Buyback on Cerato's and Revenant. They're going to come back in this fight. There's a Tremble mount, but they're just going to counter on him once again. Starzors falls to Cerato's. thanks to the lightning bounces, but he's dead again, and yep, that's going to be the concede. No more buybacks on Ceratops, and no way that they're going to get out of that. So, Reason Gaming taking the victory in the game and in the series. Congratulations to them. They end up with 8,000 gold coins for their team, as well as 5 copies of the Cassie Calamity alternate avatar. Legion team still going to take home 4,000 GC. That's a pretty substantial prize pool for them, and not bad. Both teams are looking solid in the series. Reason Gaming, I think, a little bit more, as they were a bit of a surprise in the last cycle of Han Tour with how well they did, how well they finished, the teams that they were able to beat, and sort of showing more of that in this game. When they actually played PI in Cycle 6, they didn't look nearly as dominant. Now, to be fair, neither side using their full roster, so not exactly good to draw a ridiculous amount of conclusions from this type of game, especially because not only is it not a full roster, but it's just a 5v5 cup, so they are not exactly taking this the most seriously. They're definitely still trying, but I don't know if we'd see these sort of picks in an actual cycle of Han Tour. Tremble, yes. Deadwood, maybe not so much. Unless Reason think it's good, I don't know. Either way, game and series going the way of Reason, so well played to them, congrats, and they'll take home a pretty good amount of gold coins. That's going to do it for this event, as the Grand Finals have now wrapped up, so yeah, I have nothing else to say.